Perfect. So my name's Ingrid, and I own Toronto Dog Moms, which is a community of dog moms in the city. And we hope to kind of be a resource of information, whether it be, what park can I take my dog to, what pet-friendly cafes are there in the city once, COVID is over. And then we also host our own events at local breweries, and we support local brands as much as possible as well. So that's just a little bit about me.
Thank you, Ingrid. So I'm gonna just get then a presentation bigger.
Awesome.
I don't mind putting in presentation mode. And start when you.
Perfect. I'm just put it up and running. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk today about pet first aid. I gave you a little quick intro about Toronto Dog Moms and what we do. And I'm a certified Walks and Wags pet first aid instructor, and I've been teaching pet first aid and CPR for almost 5 years now. Walks and Wags is based in Vancouver and run by a wonderful lady named Lisa, who continuously keeps the course up to date and is always looking at different ways of approaching this course and teaching it in innovative ways. The course has been recognized worldwide and teaches the skills to work with both cats and dogs, which is really great. It is one of the courses that actually has live dogs in it, so it's really great to be able to take one of the Walks and Wags pet first aid courses because you can actually bandage a live dog. Bandaging a live dog is a lot different from bandaging a mannequin because they move around and can't tell you where it hurts. So it's always good to practice on live animals. And we both volunteer for Soy Dog Rescue, which rescues animals from Thailand. So she actually goes out there several times a year to help out. And I do the home checks here in Toronto whenever somebody wants to adopt an animal from Thailand. I go into their home and kind of speak to the families and all of that. So we have that in common, which is nice given that we're in two different cities. So why is pet first aid important? So pet first aid isn't only important for pet professionals, like your groomer or your dog walker, but as a pet parent too, like Juliana was mentioning, because given there's no emergency line, there's no ambulance, there's nowhere you can kind of run into in the event of an emergency. So it's really important to be prepared to deal with any issues that can come up with your pets. And pet first aid equips you with the knowledge of identifying whether an animal is ill or injured, and it provides you with steps to keep them comfortable until you can access veterinary care. So it's really important to kind of have those tools available to you just so that you're not caught in a situation that you don't know how to handle, because there's really no 911 that you can call for that. And then prevention as well as recognizing illness is a huge vital part that we teach in the course. I'll talk a little bit more about prevention. So with prevention, we're looking at things that you might not even think are a preventative thing that you're doing, but long-term it is something prevention that you're doing. So regular dental care. Dental disease is a huge thing with animals. Both cats and dogs can get a lot of dental issues. They can then develop into their bloodstream and then develop issues with their heart. So it's really important to be on top of your pet's dental care. Nail clipping is a huge thing too, because if their nails are too long, they can cause injuries. If there's any women in this seminar today, you know how badly it hurts when you cut a certain part of your nail, or if you cut underneath the nail bed, how painful that is. So it's a lot worse for your animals because they're walking on their paws every single day. So making sure that their nails are clipped and clean are really important. A lot of people got puppies now. Puppy proofing your home is another huge thing. So just like how you would baby proof when you're bringing a baby home from the hospital, you want to puppy proof your home. So you want to put up baby gates, making sure that you're putting any kind of cleaning products away from reach. And just making sure that they can't get into anything, even the garbage, little things like that, that you don't think of, putting something heavy on top of a garbage lid so that the pets can't get inside will prevent them from getting, an upset stomach or things like that where they've gotten into your garbage. So that's a very small thing to do, but it makes a huge difference. You want to make sure that the plants in your home are non-toxic, which I'll show you a little clip later of all the types of plants that are toxic, that you wouldn't even think are are harmful to your pets, but if they ingest it, it can be very dangerous. You also want to ensure you're using proper transportation equipment. So a crate or a seatbelt while they're in the car is a huge thing that could save your animal's life. If you were involved in a car accident or anything like that, having them in a crate actually secures them and keeps them in place. And then nutrition, which is something that I believe there was a webinar recently, or sorry, it's happening next week. Nutrition is a huge thing to kind of prolong your pet's life and will prevent long-term health issues as well. Other little things as well that we
Ingrid, sorry, the interruption. We are not seeing the slide that you are speaking to. We are still seeing the first slide, and it's not in presentation mode. So can you try to select another?
Weird.
Yeah, that's better. There, now we're looking at prevention.
Okay, can you see now?
Now it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So let me just make sure it doesn't do that again. Are you able to see it now still?
Yes, I can see it, but not in presentation mode. It's going on. We can see the notes, like a smaller version.
Okay. And now can you see it?
Not yet.
That is so weird.
Let me see what options you have. Because you just did it. Can you try another option there in your your menu? I can see because it's so small. There you go.
There?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so but the thing is then I can't see my notes, which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's doing that. Okay.
What you could do is, oh yeah, it's true. It wouldn't let you see your notes. So if you want, maybe you can, make it a little bit bigger there. That's perfect.
Is that okay?
That's better, yes.
There we go. So just to continue on from about the prevention, you definitely want to talk to your vet about any preventative medication and what's best suited to them. So something as routine as getting your flea and tick medication annually. There's a whole bunch of new ones on the market. We actually just started giving my dog Bravecto this year, but a lot of these kill fleas, heartworms, ear mites, mange, ticks. So you want to make sure you're talking to your vet and what you're exposing them to, so that you know what's best to put what preventative medicine is best to put them on. And next up, I have my little slide with all of the plants. So I hope you guys can see this. I'm going to zoom in a bit because there are quite a few plants that a lot of us probably have had in our home at some point or another. This one right here, the Poinsettia, is a really, really popular now for Christmas. And, everyone seems to gift them to everybody, but they're really hazardous to your pets. So you want to make sure that you're aware of what is coming into your home, what you have, and what your pets can get into, especially cats. They seem to be able to get up high places. So even if you have your plants on a countertop and things like that, they might still be able to access them. So something as simple as not having these in your home, you don't have to worry about coming home to a pet that might have a toxic reaction to any of these plants. Next up.
Can you show us a little bit bigger the name of the plants that I wasn't able to read them?
Yeah, so they're alphabetically. Here we only have 23, but if you actually go on, there's the ASPCA website that will actually give you all the plants that are toxic. I'm just going to pull up the website now so I can provide it to you guys, but it's actually a very extensive list.
I'm surprised that there are so many.
Yeah, and it's actually very scary when you start to put them in because you might not even think that something is toxic. You might just think, oh, we're not exposed, or we don't have that plant here, so we're fine. But even traveling with your pets, you might not think to check. So I always recommend to people to check when they're traveling, especially what plants are they going to be exposed to and what is hazardous so that they can avoid it. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now.
Great, thank you.
That's a really great resource for kind of going through, and it tells you toxic, non-toxic plants. There's over 1,000 plants in there. Some are just to cats, some are just to horses, and some are just to dogs, and then some are to everybody. So you want to make sure, I always recommend to people, especially if you're traveling, to check these plants and see if, you know, you're hiking by one of these plants. You want to make sure you're not allowing your pets to kind of go and sniff it and ingest it or anything like that. Next up, we talk about head to toe check a lot in our class as well. And with this, I always think it's important for people to do a complete head to toe check for your pets. And not only when you're in an emergency situation, but on a regular monthly or semi-monthly basis, just depending on your pet's age and what they're exposed to, just because you don't want to find something later that could have been preventable or you could have brought to your vet's attention. So you want to check them literally from head, tip of their nose to the tip of their tail. And it's important to check for any lumps or bumps that you haven't noticed before. You want to check ears, eyes, nose for any kind of unusual discharge. You want to look into paw pads if there's anything stuck in there that shouldn't be in there. This is one of my little diagrams that I use to kind of go through what you're looking for. Their tail, if there's hair missing, and every pet's different. So you want to make sure that you're looking at what is normal and abnormal for your pet, right? Because it might not be something that is alarming to you because they've had that for years, but for somebody else that might be caring for your pet as well, you want to provide them with a list of things that you've already noticed on them. Quick example, I used to do dog walking, and one of the dog walkers was just drying a dog. So they went out for a regular walk, came back inside the door, and she took off his harness and she was just, drying off his body. And in doing that, she found a lump. We then told the client, we found a lump on your dog. We think it should be checked out. And it turned out it was cancerous. And the client had no idea. They hadn't done a head to toe check on him. They haven't really had to. So if it wasn't something that the dog walker had caught, they wouldn't have really noticed where they could have, been over the time of where they could save his life. So it's really important. I tell people all the time to do this. Now that my dog's turned 10, we do it probably every month, I would say. We sit him down and kind of just feel around, especially because he's had mast cell tumors removed. So it's something that we're always on top of with him. So you want to make sure what's normal and abnormal for your pet. And same thing goes for their heart rate, for their temperature, like what is normal for them and what isn't normal, right? So it's something that you always want to make sure you're checking out. And then important phone numbers. So these are really important numbers to have on hand in the event of an emergency. You want to have them readily available to you. So I'll leave them up for a little bit of time. I'll actually enlarge it so everyone can write them down. So these numbers are your local poison center. The ASPCA poison helpline is also really great. I just provided the link where you can see all the hazardous plants. So this number, when you call, there is a fee that you have to pay, but it is something that I recommend people have available to them, especially if you're able to tell them what was ingested, how much of it. They're able to really help you and guide you through what you need to do for your pets. And then there's the pet poison helpline as well. And then your local animal control service is always great to have. And I recommend having an emergency vet number as well. So your local emergency vet that would be open for 24 hours, just in case you run into a pet emergency at 3 o'clock in the morning. You want to be able to have that phone number readily available on your phone and save these numbers as contacts in your phone. It doesn't hurt to have them